I'm in Bolton, just on the outskirts. It's very cold. But I'm here to see somebody really important. So you're thinking, who's that, right? Who's from Bolton? Who's really important? Well, there's a boxer, Amir Khan, that could be him. Maxine Peake, the actress, she's from Bolton. Paddy McGuinness, he's the guy that does Question of Sport, he's from Bolton. So it could be any of those, but you know it isn't, right? No, I'm here to see a man who I love and respect a lot, right? And he was and is Britain's greatest ever forger. So that's Shaun Greenhalgh. I'm sure you've read about him. And he was caught, one of his forgeries in the British Museum a few years ago. They put him in prison, rather unfairly I thought, for far too long. But since he's come out, he's made himself a kind of maker of bespoke objects. I mean, this man could do anything. When he was a forger, there was nothing he couldn't make. So since he's come out and gone on the straight and narrow, he's continued showing his skills and making all these amazing things. The thing is, I've got this thing that I want him to do for me. Question is, would he do it or not? Shaun!
Oh, hello.
I said I'd come, you didn't believe me, did you?
Yeah, come on, come in. You're welcome.
Yeah. Oh, it's great to be in the warm. I forgot how cold Bolton was. It's cosy in here, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Oh, yeah, isn't it? Yeah, well, it's wonderful to see you again.
Yeah, and you.
So I've got something I want you to do for me, right?
I thought so.
Now the thing is, can you wind your mind back a little bit, your memory? Do you remember when I might first have made contact with you? Although at the time, I didn't know that.
I know where you.
Do you know what I'm going on? Do you know what it is?
I know where you're going.
Where am I going?
To the fawn.
The time.
The Gogh fawn.
The fawn.
Oh.
The time that Shaun Greenhalgh made a fool of Waldemar Januszczak on British television.
Unintentionally. Unintentionally.
Unintentionally.
Yeah,
Didn't feel unintentional to me.
I
Yeah.
know.
So, I mean, there'll be people watching this who won't know this story, right? So,
it does go back a bit, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. It goes back 20 years nearly. So I was making a big film about Gauguin, so like a big biography of Gauguin, and I made a point of going to see every single Gauguin work that I could find anywhere. Yeah. And there was this massive show on at the Van Gogh Museum in Amsterdam, right?
Yeah, I remember.
And this big show in Amsterdam, they had loads of new works, things I hadn't been seen, and I made a beeline for this very interesting sculpture that I saw there, which was some kind of fawn.
Yeah,
right?
A ceramic fawn.
A ceramic fawn.
I remember it.
You remember it?
Well,
even if you don't remember it, you're going to remember it now.
Oh, right. You're going to have to look at it
show
again.
it to you again, right there.
Right, okay.
Right.
This is the first ceramic that Gauguin ever made. It shows a fawn. Now, fawns, satyrs, the god Pan, various representatives.
I was young and handsome then.
Also half a goat, were very popular in the 19th century because they were taken as symbols of unbridled sexuality.
I've got away with words, haven't I?
You are. Engaging.
And rather interestingly, it's the first time he uses the monogram PGO, which he later used on a lot of his paintings. Now, PGO in French, Pego, was apparently a word which he'd also picked up on his travels earlier as a sailor. It was a kind of British nautical slang for a penis. A Pego.
What's great is I'm talking about him as if I know all about what he's trying to represent in this. Yeah. But everything I say about this should be said about you, shouldn't it?
Yeah.
Because you made it.
Yeah.
Right. So you remember that, okay?
Yeah, it looks a little bit better than I remembered, actually. It was absolutely rubbish at the time I made it. But...
Well, of course, as you know, a few years later, I'm sitting at home, opening the newspaper, and on the front, it's got a picture of you, it's got a picture of your mum and your dad.
I know.
And it's got a picture of
the
picture of the fawn. And it turned out you made it.
I did, yeah. I think back in '93, I think, about a decade before.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, right, I'm embarrassed that I'm like an idiot, talking about this thing that wasn't made by Gauguin. But on the other hand, it was at the Van Gogh Museum in Amsterdam. Yeah. It was a big show. It had been sold to the Chicago Art Institute, which is one of the,
Yeah, which
the biggest.
I didn't know when it went to Sotheby's. I had no idea where it went. I wasn't bothered, actually.
Yeah.
With all my stuff, it's just gone.
But that's prestigious. You know, you fooled the Chicago.
Yeah, and I think it was authenticated before it was sold by the Wildenstein Institute, which is like the people to go to for like Gauguin and a lot of the post-impressionists and impressionists, and they authenticated it.
Yeah, yeah.
I think it was the body of the clay that did it, though. I did a bit of experimentation. And when I opened the kiln, I thought, wow, that's an absolute dead ringer for the stuff that he used, because he made his own clay up, like from basic stuff, and it kind of just looked right. So I think that was the basic thing that sucked them in, actually, not the actual sculpting of it.
Well, I wouldn't call it sucking people in, because I fell for it, you know.
Yeah.
And to me, it was just a very cunningly presented as something that he could have made.
Yeah, well, the way I got my idea from it, in a book I was looking at Gauguin, there was like a little thumbnail sketch of a fawn sat on a mound, only a tiny little thing. And so I thought, that'd be an interesting project. These kind of things just occur to me, you know, they kind of just happen. I see them and then I think, on we go.
Yeah.
Well, without a plan, really.
I got over it eventually. You know, I got over eventually the fact that you made me look like an idiot on national television. And I came to admire you and love you. You're a wonderful man. You're a really interesting man, I think.
You're embarrassing me now.
yeah. Well, forgiveness will come, you know, at some point in the future. But I like Gauguin. You see, I like Gauguin, and I think as a craftsman, he was so interesting. His hands, the different things he did. He had that kind of. He's one of those people that could pick up anything and do it. You know, they're rare. They're like you. You can do that. You can pick up anything.
But not original. Gauguin was like an original, whereas I'm just a copyist, and I'm not doing myself down. But you know, the original thought is the thing, isn't it? Really, that's art, isn't it?
Well, it's part of it.
Yeah,
but
everything else is like manufacture.
Even if that were true, the fact is that the things that you can do, you're the only person in Britain that can do them.
Well,
and
I suppose I put the effort in, though. That's what you need, you know.
Yeah, you did, and you can do it. Anyway, I'm here to ask you to do something else, right?
Right. Fire away.
This is a work of art that I really admire.
Right.
By Gauguin. So let's have a quick look at it. This is it. Do you recognise what that is?
Yeah. The Gauguin head.
Yeah.
The bloodied head, yeah.
It's in a museum in Copenhagen. It's a self-portrait.
I've seen it a long time ago.
Yeah. What's amazing about it is that, I mean, it's a crazy idea to make a jug, as it were, and to make that jug a self-portrait is an absolutely astonishing thing to do, I think. But it's also, it's loaded with deep meaning, right? Because Gauguin made this self-portrait jug just after he got back from Arles. You know, he was in Arles in the south of France.
Yeah, with Van Gogh.
With Van Gogh. And you know, Van Gogh cut off his ear.
Yeah.
And Gauguin fled back to Paris. And literally a few days later, he makes this self-portrait, right? Which has got blood coming down the side of
it
the...
has bandaged ears on both sides.
As if it's cut off his ear. And there's something else, actually, because I read afterwards that when he came back to Paris, exactly, I think 2 days later, after he arrived back in Paris, there was a famous execution taking place in Paris. There's a guy called Prado. Right. He was roughly contemporary with Jack the Ripper. So this guy, Prado, had murdered some prostitutes.
Right. I've not heard of him.
Yeah. He was just an evil bloke at the time. But so he was found guilty and executed publicly in Paris when Gauguin was there. 2 days after he gets back from where he saw Van Gogh cut off his ear.
See some of that in it too, then,
Yeah, and this guy was decapitated, guillotined.
Guillotine, yeah.
So apparently his head got cut off second time. The first time they cut a bit of his head off. Second time they cut his neck off. So that whole idea, you know, the decapitated head, it's like John the Baptist, Salome's Dance.
Very evocative, isn't it? A decapitated head.
Yeah, there's the amazing kind of idea of Prado as the guy who murdered the prostitutes and that memory of that. And there's the whole thing about Van Gogh as well. I mean, so this thing is loaded.
Absolutely, yeah.
I mean, it's loaded with dark meaning. The thing is, since you made that fawn, which fooled me on public television, humiliated me, what do you think? Can we ever go at making this? Because I think it's an amazing work of art.
Yeah, I think we could do, Get the clay body right and the glazing,
Is it going to be tough, easy?
Middling. We'll have a go anyway, see how it goes on. You know, you're never certain when I start things whether they'll get done or there's problems with them, but we'll give it our best shot, shall we?
Yeah.
Yeah, good stuff.
We're going to do it.
Yeah.